what we're seeing out of AP. So Donald Trump has now declared the Gulf of America, it used to be the Gulf of Mexico. He said, we're calling it the Gulf of America. And he has every right to do this. This is within his jurisdiction. I mean, Obama did the same thing with Mount McKinley. So he got kind of happy. You know, he heard it on the plane the other day. AP won't call it Gulf of America, by the way, but let's listen, see his reaction when he hears it for the first time.
Air Force One is currently in international waters, for the first time in history, flying over the recently renamed Gulf of America. Please enjoy the flight, and we are now about to head westbound to Super Bowl 59.
Wow, yeah. He did that well. That's a good... Make America great again, right? That's what we care about. Okay.
So it's been renamed. It's been renamed, and most people have changed the name. You know, it's Gulf of America now, except for, check this out, one AP. So that's on Google, it's on Apple, everybody changed it, but you've got AP, which, wow, according to Doge, got like 52 million bucks. Check that out. A lot of it came from USAID, USAGM, Department of State, Department of Defense, Executive Office of the President, wow, Department of Justice. I mean, they were paying for positive coverage. They were paying for their media. And now they won't call it the Gulf of America? Really? Like that's what you're going to dig in your heels about when he has absolute power to do that? Did everybody say we're going to keep, whatever it was named with Obama, you know, people changed the name. I mean, I still may have called it Mount McKinley, not intentionally. Like, it's just that's what I grew up knowing as a school kid, right? And then Obama changes it, so it was like, would take you a minute. But Trump wants to call AP out on this, and he's doing so. In fact, he's like, you know what? We don't need you in the White House press room. Why do we need you in the White House press room? You were just an agent of the Democrat Party, effectively. CNN's all freaking out.
I have a thing for you. Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language?
So she's asking whether or not it's a retaliation.
How does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation in the Geographical Identification Name Server. And Apple has recognized that, Google has recognized that, pretty much every other outlet in this room has recognized that body of water as the Gulf of America, and it's very important to this administration that we get that right, not just for people here at home, but also for the rest of the world. Sure.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Were those like gremlins killing my sound? I do have. Okay, it's back on. Good. Glad you guys caught that. See, this is why it's good to do a live show, because you are all over it. I'm just saying ABC's in a huge amount of trouble right now. NBC, meanwhile, NBC is in the hot seat. And you know why NBC's in the hot seat? They were a little too over their skis with the DEI stuff. I mean, they knew it too, right? So they're kind of in violation of the Constitution because it's being viewed as discriminatory. And that's why they had to spin off that other network, MSNBC.
We could all be fired a year from now whenever this happens. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen. You never, ever know what is going to happen because you, yes, may all be out of a job. You see, it's come about because, again, Brendan Carr is looking at all of these networks. They have just announced an investigation into NBC, Comcast, NBC Universal because of its DEI practices. In fact, they're writing here on Tuesday, Brendan Carr told Comcast that he had asked the FCC's Enforcement Bureau to investigate the company and its NBC Universal unit for not complying with FCC regulations. In other words, they've been promoting DEI in a way that they believe that the FCC does not comply with DEI, or rather FCC regulations. Comcast said, no, for decades our company has been built on a foundation of integrity and respect for all of our employees and customers. Well, it would explain why they're spinning off that cable network that has some people on it that, well, let's just say have championed a little too much DEI and continue to champion it. I'm talking about Joy Reid and others.
Hey, I just want to give some free advice to the white progressives, particularly white progressive women who may be thinking about marching against the Trump victory, maybe putting back on the P-word hats and doing that thing. I would just say probably don't send any of those invites to any black women you know. I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not coming. I'm pretty sure black women have resigned from the Save America Coalition, Save Democracy Coalition, and definitely the Save the Democratic Party Coalition. I think that's probably not happening. I would just keep those invites maybe among your own friends, because I don't think they're coming. But yeah, I think black women are now on the Save Black Women, Prioritize Black Men, and Prioritize Black Communities, Black Businesses, and that, and you know, the Black spaces. But Save America, Save the Democratic Party, yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. You see, I think the solution has been, okay, well, we're going to fix it this way. We're going to spin that network off so it will no longer fall under the FCC's jurisdiction. I mean, it could still be, frankly, in a whole lot of trouble, the company itself, because, you know, if you're employing people just because they check boxes, that would be a violation of the actual Constitution.
Morning, Comcast, which owns our parent company, NBC Universal, plans to spin off its cable TV networks. That's according to the Wall Street Journal and people familiar with the situation. The company will...
Yeah. Spinning it off because you need to somehow protect yourself from Trump's FCC because you've been in violation of certain things.